let's get into these Twitter files over here because they're kind of interesting, and I want to talk a little bit about them. I think we've been talking for quite some time that this is not going to be anything worth really writing home about. It seemed to be like it was going to be more red meat just released right off the bat. But go ahead and jump right into it, and I'll make sure I move the Matt Taibbi.
I mean, we're not going to be able to read all of this stuff here. So I just want to start off by saying, just because the establishment is going after Matt Taibbi in a very dishonest way and saying, oh, he's protecting Elon Musk and all this stuff, which is invalid criticism, doesn't mean that this thing is what so many people, unfortunately, I've seen on independent media and all over make it out to be. I do believe this is really mostly a nothing burger, but not for the same reasons the establishment believes it's a nothing burger. They're trying to cover up the truth, like what they do. I believe it really confirms all the things we've been talking about for years, not just about the Hunter Biden laptop story, but in general about how the Democratic establishment colludes with these social media giants, with big tech. And that's been obviously proven not just through WikiLeaks, but through just if you watch the hearings and you see how they collude, the reality of just really seeing accounts get taken down, things being censored, us being censored, a lot of us being censored for talking about these things like the elections, like January 6th, COVID, all of this stuff. Like, so it's not a bad thing that these documents came out. It's not a bad thing. I don't think it necessarily hurts in general. But I do think the reason why Elon Musk cooperated to have this out at this time is because it really elevates his profile. It makes him seem like a transparent, different type of boss than the last boss. And it makes him look like he is going to somehow fight for free speech on one end, but he's simultaneously literally taking down accounts left and right. And he won't acknowledge the shadow banning on state affiliated media. He won't, I mean, multiple people have asked him, he won't do any of that stuff. So while I do think like this isn't necessarily bad that it's been revealed, I don't think that it's anything that is bombshell breaking because it was okayed by Elon Musk. And you say, well, but at least he's doing this. Well, yeah, but why? What you have to ask yourself, what aren't we talking about while all of this is happening? What aren't we paying attention to while all of this is happening? And what does this do for Elon Musk? How does this make him look in a certain way without him actually to be that? Elon Musk has strong connections to big tech, strong connections to the Defense Department. Elon Musk is not just this, well-do-good billionaire guy that's just, flowing along, and he works really hard and he made some money and that's it. I mean, the guy has really, really, really problematic connections with the orchestrators of the Great Reset, with with just the intelligence apparatus. He's not some guy that's just gonna give this information with no reason, and he's not stupid. Yep. He's not stupid. He's actually a really smart guy in terms of just positioning himself in a certain way. Oh, let me be like the guy that's good. What have people on the left just been doing? And I've seen it more so on the Western left than anybody else on the, on the outskirts, whether they're independent, whatever, who don't live in the United States or Canada, because I see the United States and Canada extremely being partial to Musk and giving him all this credit for pretty much confirming what we already knew. And Elon Musk isn't going to give this information away that could damage the people who fund him, guys. And It's not me being cynical. It's not me being like, oh, well, you just don't like him, so you're just looking for. No, like, it's actually me being realistic and saying, wait a minute, like, I'm not going to pretend this billionaire that has ties to the State Department, ties to Neuralink, ties to the Great Reset, ties to the World Economic Forum. It's somehow just going to do this one thing and give this information to this one journalist. We don't know the source material. We haven't seen it. and it's just going to be fully transparent, and it's just going to make him look good, and we're all supposed to be like, oh my god, Elon, thank you so much for everything you've done, even though he keeps censoring a bunch of people and a bunch of accounts, like Arlen Nixon, like somebody just mentioned. And like, it's just I think it's very naive, and you're tricking yourself into thinking somebody's going to save you by thinking that this is anything that's actually going to change things, because we know that the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment have colluded with these big tech giants, and every time something happens, they say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to change that, we're going to do something. Nothing fucking happens. Nothing ever changes, because their power depends on it, depends on these connections, depends on these collusions. So anybody that is naive enough to think that he's going to somehow change the way free press happens, the way information goes, fine. Well, I'll see you on the other side of this when that doesn't happen. And I'm not being like negative here. I'm just telling you, based on what's happened before and based on who he is, this isn't just some magic like pill that's going to wipe everything away.
And, Ari Emanuel, thank you, Kanye West, Ye, for pointing that out and stuff. I think a lot of already people knew that, but I'm glad you highlighted that picture of Ari Emanuel spraying water on Elon Musk's head as they're like playing on a yacht of sorts. He's a super agent with a lot of connections too as well. And, why is Elon Musk playing on a ship with these elites? You know what I'm saying? Or I don't wish with the Predator class, we shouldn't call them elites anymore. So there are a lot of questionable connections over there. And really, to tell you the truth, a lot of this stuff is not verified. There were screenshots. It's just red meat. He's not showing us. He's not opening up the hood and showing us the whole engine and showing us how the algorithm works and showing what they're doing to suppress people or to lift other people up. See, there's another form of suppression. If they're lifting other people up but just leaving you be, that's a form of suppression. It's just like somebody taking away your vote by artificially adding a vote. You know what I'm saying? So, Elon, we've been saying this for quite some times, a lot of questionable connections. Should we go to the tweet itself, fam, and go through the thread?
Yeah. Did you want to? Yeah, just quickly, we can highlight some stuff.
So you tell me.
I mean, you can just keep scrolling. Everything. I mean, he's just explaining here. I think you guys have all pretty much seen it. Blah blah blah. Basically, right here. So he talks about how they would basically work with a Biden team to remove tweets, to delete tweets, etc. That sort of thing we knew. Like, we knew this. It's just confirmation of what we knew was true. Like what we experienced, what we saw. Oh, thank you. We're not being gaslit anymore. It's confirmed by Elon. So, okay, great. Like, and it's not just, and this is of course regarding the election, right? And regarding Biden versus Trump in the election. But guys, notice how they're not admitting, and they very well could. They're not talking about the election manipulation that's going on even now, that went on during the midterms, because Twitter, even with Elon on there, released ways to make sure that the election information that was coming out of journalists was actually coming from real sources that you could trust. Right, Pasta? Do you remember that when they talked about the midterms? They said, oh, we have to make sure that the information that's being put out there is actually reliable information, not disinformation. Elon even tweeted that. He talked about that. So while they're saying, oh, yes, the Democratic Party and Joe Biden were deleting tweets, they're not talking about, hey, the Democratic Party and Joe Biden are literally engaged in deep manipulation of elections. And let's talk about the weaponization of deleting videos of election malfeasance, deleting accounts that showed election malfeasance, deleting covering up this stuff. Like, they're not talking about all this stuff. They literally still frame it as conspiracy. So I would be a lot more keen to believe that Elon Musk and this Twitter file revelation is legitimate. Like, I'm not saying it's fake. I'm saying it's just the surface. It's very much not just red meat, as Pasta says, but it's just very much like scraps. Yeah. Just red scraps. Well, like, it's not even full meat.
This right here is one, and Fam talked about it. So this is what's going on. We have more information. It says unreal. Katie Hobbs' office contacts Twitter to have posts removed. So the Democrat candidate who ran the Arizona election censored her political opponents, disrupted election day votes, and then threatened counties to with prosecution if they didn't declare the winner. So we have it right here where she contacted this one outlet that went right to directly to Twitter and had posts removed of her opponents. And they just pretty much admitted to it, fam. So once again, it seems like they're just playing team sports right now, showing a lot of this stuff that seems like it's just a lot of red meat. And when I say red meat, I mean like the fact that
it's a distraction too, though,
yes.
because red meat, it's like you're giving some people what they want, but at the same time, you're distracting them from other problems.
Stuff. And like I said, they're not showing the algorithm. They're not showing everything. So yeah, they're kind of, and when I mean red meat, I mean like the color red, like they're getting the conservatives pissed off and just showing one point of view. They're not showing a bunch of progressives how the Democrats cheated them. They're showing Republicans how they got cheated. And it seems to be, once again, when I say red meat, I mean like conservative meat. So
yeah, no, you're right, because it's exactly that. I mean, the Republicans now can say, "Oh, look, the Democrats, they're colluding and they're doing this against us," and so blah blah blah. And a lot of Republicans really do like Elon because he has been more pro, Republican and stuff like that. So essentially, it's reinforcing as of late, it's reinforcing the two spectrums of the left-right dynamics. And literally the nuanced points of views, which apparently people forgot about just because they were so excited about this. And I'll forgive you if you were excited and you thought, well, maybe this is kind of cool, blah, blah, blah. But really sit down and think about it here. And like clear your head, sit down and have a nuanced conversation about this, because this isn't a dig at Matt Taibbi. Like, this isn't a dig at anybody that's like, saying, oh, this is actually a good thing. But the thing is, like, why now? Why Elon Musk is doing this, and why specifically not in a way like WikiLeaks where you get the source material directly? Why in this way? What deals were made behind the scenes? Yeah. What had to be like said and done? Elon Musk is not just a billionaire. He's one of the most powerful people on the planet with ties to the State Department. I am so sorry. I don't trust that. And I don't trust information coming from people like that isn't leaked in anonymity. Because if there was anything that could come back to him, and then we're going to go off to, he did mention, oh, if I get suicided, I didn't do it. Like, nobody's going to suicide Elon Musk, guys. It's just, he's not a threat to the establishment. He is a part of it. And that's what people need to understand.
And in a minute, fam, the way Jim Carrey says it, both parties had access to these tools. And, I mentioned the Katie Hobbs thing. We also had a case with Dr. Shiva, in which Dr. Shiva had accused his opponent for calling to Twitter directly and having Dr. Shiva's whole network turned down, his whole Twitter shut down. And that's just crazy. And I can't believe they're just openly doing this and getting away with this. For instance, in 2020, requests from both Trump, White House, and Biden campaign were received and honored. However, the system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation. There were more channels, more ways to complain, open to the left, well, Democrats, than the right.
Yeah, and that is true.
And he's going to point that out. It is true, but the fact that he went out of his way to point that out, fam,
yeah,
that's the red meat,
right,
for the red base,
right. So you have a bunch of Republicans.
Rude, fam. But what about us? What about dissenting voices from the left? That's why I'm saying we need
nonpartisan.
Or nonpartisan.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's just no nuance. That's what I'm saying. This plays into the culture war. Once again, the Democrats versus the Republicans, the woke versus the anti-woke, the left versus the right. There's no because America loves that. America loves that. That's why you have people like Trump, Biden, Elon Musk, because America loves that. It's so easy to manipulate the American public with this sort of rhetoric. And I'm not saying Matt Taibbi doesn't know or he knows. I don't know. This isn't about him. This is about the fact that I just don't think this is a genuine revelation that is actually going to change the system of how free speech works in the country. It's not going to Because if it depends on Elon Musk, a billionaire with ties to Neuralink and the State Department and the military industrial complex, you literally have no chance of having free speech. I'm so sorry, but you can call me a cynic all you want. You can say that I'm this and that. Like, that's just the reality. We don't have fair elections. If it were revealed that, for example, like Pasta talks about, there's black box voting, that there was some sort of hacking, some sort of thing, if that was the bombshell that was revealed and there was solid proof that the Democrats actually manipulated our elections, you would have a completely different reaction from me. I'd be like, okay, wait a minute. Like, whoa, this is actual shit. This is actual reality. It's just basically talking about posts and tweets that were deleted. It's not, yes, and the Democrats, yes, we know they do this. They literally tell you in their hearings that they do this. If you don't watch the hearings, this may be news to you. But like, it's not news to people who watch them or people who have been following elections and this whole thing. It's just, it's being released. By the way, this was also released right after. Remember, they admitted to, the mainstream media admitted a couple things. The mainstream media admitted that the Biden laptop scandal was actually true. Then they also, mainstream media outlets said, hey, we are advocating the release of Julian Assange. We think he should be released. And then this was released. Do you not see that maybe perhaps there's a reason why all of these things are being released right now, and what mechanisms and narratives there might be to push these certain things out, and to sort of kind of say, well, mainstream media is now on board, so they're changing their tune. The most dangerous thing for us, people that are anti-imperialist, people that are anti-establishment, isn't the current establishment even. It is the co-option of our current fight against it. That is, to me, the more dangerous thing. It's not just, opposing the clear enemy. It's being co-opted by that enemy, by figures that pretend to be on your side. And that's where I think Elon Musk comes in, as somebody that is pretending to be different than the old boss, when he is actually very much the same through his censorship.
And I wanted to show this right here because listen, isn't it odd that they're going after that? The thing that's being most talked about is the censorship of Hunter Biden's laptop. People are kind of questioning whether Joe Biden's going to run again. People are questioning whether they're going. They feel like, some people feel like, at the sense that they're starting to throw him under the bus. That's what this feels like right here. We're going to release this stuff now, and eventually we're going to remove Joe Biden. We're going to put Kamala Harris in there, and they can. That's the thing. 2 years in a day, right? That's when she can come in, serve the 2 years, serve out his term, and then serve 2 terms of her own, and have 10 years with elections.
Lord help us all.
10 years of a Kamala Harris could be technically true, but a lot of people feel like that's the timing of this whole situation. Fam, do you want to look at anything else in those things? I was going to go to the next one because Elon Musk then put up.
Let's just go to the next one.
All right, so let me put this one up over here, guys. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We hope that you're enjoying everything today. We are on Rumble as well as Rokfin and YouTube today until they do what they normally do, and that's censor the schnot out of us, right, fam?
And by the way, one more thing I got to point out. Elon Musk was losing popularity because of his censorship and his banning of accounts. And people were like, wow, I thought you were going to be different and blah, blah, blah. He started losing a lot of supporters. This just brings him right back up, and people have literally just lost it when it comes to this. Like, this whole situation, they're giving him credit. I've seen so many people say, thank you, Elon Musk, for this, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to catch me thanking Elon Musk, because if he actually did something legitimate, maybe like legitimate, where he was actually being really transparent, where he literally separated himself away from his links to the State Department and to these covert agencies, then maybe I would say, you know what, like, he's actually shown he's doing that. But I'm not going to thank him for a tweet. I'm not going to thank him for doing something very much predictable of somebody that's trying to gain your trust. As Lucky Burrito said, he's trying to gain people's trust. And that is a very, I think, nefarious underlying sort of thing. So he said, tune in for episode 2 of the Twitter Files tomorrow. He's promoting this. Do you really think that, and because would you say he's part of the establishment, Pasta? Because to me, he
made all his money on governmental contracts and subsidies for weapons and propulsion and rockets. And he's been pushing Neuralink bullshit the whole time. He says we'll coup who we want to coup. You saw him with freaking Ari Emanuel over there. I don't trust him one way or the other. I don't think he's a rogue character. And look at the people people like Eric Bolling, right? Oh, great stuff so far. Completely partisan. Republicans can't do anything wrong. I hate Democrats. Eric Bolling, Elon Musk, they are powerful, evil people who don't want to see the light of day. Keep a watchful eye on your six. Can't wait for tomorrow's.
Yeah. Once again, that narrative that he's like in danger because they're going to get him because he's a threat to the establishment is laughable. It's laughable, guys. He's part of it. Just like Pasta said, he made all his money from the defense industry. So yes, I do think he's part of the establishment. He is positioning himself as being somebody that's anti-establishment. And just here's more proof right here. Elon Musk says that if I commit suicide, it's not real. Like he's pushing this narrative. He's promoting the Twitter files. A person that has ties to the State Department and the military industrial complex and the dirty things that they've done would not be promoting something if it actually threatened the people he's made his money from, guys. It just wouldn't happen. It's the logical, it's not an emotional decision here or thought process that I'm doing. It's a logical thought process. Why would somebody that has made all their money from the State Department, the military industrial complex, the defense industry, really put out anything beyond superficial connections to some other, people, Democrats, whatever he can point out without having something to gain from it? And he wouldn't put those bridges in danger. That he wouldn't bite the hand that feeds. He's just going to do what he can to position it as if he is some sort of opponent to the establishment while actually making his money off of it. And that is, to me, far more nefarious than somebody that is just more transparent about where they stand. And like, I just don't understand. I think people got emotional with this whole thing and they're not really looking at the logic of this doesn't make sense. And it's also because neoliberals are criticizing Taibbi and are criticizing this, but from the standpoint of, oh, he's just pro-Republican and blah, blah, blah. They're just, they're using really stupid criticisms. But my criticism comes from actually it's his ties to the State Department and the military industrial complex that really make it like not trustworthy.
Yeah.
And T-Lab.
I'll never forget. We'll coup who we want to coup. Go ahead, fam.
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
So I do want to have Ryan on to talk about this because I think him, Lionel, that was on RT the other day, and maybe like us and Steve are the only ones that I've seen like really have this perspective and understand. Whitney, understand, like, because she knows all about his connections. She's talked and wrote ad nauseum about them. But everybody else is just like, oh my God, Elon, like, this is great. Fiorella, you're being, oh my God, you should, this is a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm sorry, it's not. So he said, why are so few pointing out that these supposed Twitter files are just tweets with screenshots? I'm not saying it's all false, merely that no one knows but Matt and Elon. No one honest should be taking this at face value until we see source material. Hashtag real transparency, hashtag Twitter files.
Which is something we've been talking about for so long. We want real transparency.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, fam. I didn't mean to interrupt. My bad.
No, that's it. I mean, I just wanted to read his tweet, and I think he's so right. I mean, I think that is a suspect. And I said it before on Twitter. I said if it was coming from WikiLeaks where it was direct source material, and by the way, WikiLeaks files began disappearing too, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like millions of files reportedly gone. And we talked about that a few weeks ago. And all of a sudden, like, it's just so weird to me. It's just so weird to me. So this person put up this poll that said, should Elon Musk release the Twitter files WikiLeaks style, or should he outsource editorial decisions on January 6th Twitter communications to IDW midwit like Barry Weiss? So they're just like saying, but a lot of people are beginning to say, wait a minute, why don't we see the actual files? Like, this is just a Twitter thread or an article. Why don't we just see like the files themselves? Why aren't they all being released? You're not seeing the meat and bone, like the real foundations of this whole thing. You're just seeing what they want you to see, what is allowed, what you're allowed to see. And that is something you should question as to why that is. Just constantly, like just always.
What did you think about? Do we have it in here? The Julian Assange thing. All right, so we'll get to it. I don't want to
should be in there.
Jump the gun. I'm sorry, fam. Go ahead. This is from the New York Post. You were saying,
yeah. So this is just something that I think I want to point this out so people don't think I am agreeing with the establishment. So a lot of these establishment leftists, which they're not really leftists, but whatever, they're the establishment shitlibs, right, are attacking Matt Taibbi for exposing this, which I don't think you should attack Matt Taibbi, because I don't think that's the problem here. And they're attacking him for unserious reasons, right? They're really insulting the guy. They're insulting the messenger rather than like really understanding what's going on here. So if you just scroll down a little bit, want to read the first part. So mainstream news reporters in lockstep with Democratic strategists rushed to social media to smear journalist Matt Taibbi as a sad fraud as he released his bombshell report on political censorship at Twitter. Matt Taibbi, what a sad, disgraceful downfall. Daily Beast columnist, of course, the Daily Beast, and New York Times contributor Wajahat Ali posted, selling your soul for the richest white nationalist on earth. Do you see these criticisms? Like, not about the substance, just about the people. Like, it's just not the substance. I'm not criticizing Elon as a white nationalist. I'm criticizing Elon's ties to the State Department, the defense industry. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that. Do you see that? Like, I want people to understand that just because I'm saying this is a nothing burger doesn't mean I agree with the ways the establishment is attacking Taibbi and is even criticizing Elon with bullshit points like white nationalists. Like, what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about here? On Friday, billionaire Elon Musk, who vowed to give the social media giant a free speech overhaul when he bought it last month, released to Taibbi a shocking collection of inside correspondence proving that Democrat insiders leaned on Twitter censors to suppress the Post's coverage of the Hunter Biden laptop ahead of the 2020 presidential election. While Ali was hitting send, Dem pollster Matt McDermott tweeted a nearly identical putdown. Matt Taibbi always was and still remains a fraud. Doing PR for the richest person in the world should come as no surprise. Okay, here's the thing. In a way, it is PR for Elon. Why would Elon release it to him and only to him? Why would, all of these things? But did he do that on purpose? I'm not saying that. I don't necessarily think that at all. I think if somebody like Elon Musk releases these documents and you can verify them, of course, release them. That's not, the criticisms against Taibbi and Elon Musk here are disingenuous coming from the establishment. They just don't want this stuff out because it makes them look bad. It confirms basically what we all know about the establishment, that they're a bunch of frauds, manipulative bastards who go around and try to censor any sort of narrative that goes outside their accepted narrative. And it's as simple as that. Now, the criticisms I have are of the reason this was released and Elon Musk's ties to very problematic institutions of power much more than anything Taibbi has done or said. Like, this is more about like, this is really weird to me that Elon Musk would just allow this stuff to go out when he has just so many ties to a lot of the power players at hand here, and how this isn't like straight source material. You're releasing certain screenshots and stuff. So it's kind of like we're getting secondhand information from Elon Musk via Matt Taibbi. We're not getting the direct source material. And I think that it really decreases credibility and how big of the story is. And of course, it is PR, but I don't think Taibbi was doing that on purpose. I don't think he's trying to do PR for Elon Musk. I just think that this is inadvertently really good for Elon Musk. And I think that's also why he did it.
Bam.
This is Elon Musk quote. Why should people believe Twitter in the future if Twitter does not come clean about the past? Elon Musk on the Twitter files. So again, he's trying to cement belief in his new Twitter world. He is now the head of Twitter. He is now the guy that's in charge of Twitter. So he wants to reaffirm belief in Twitter, especially because Twitter has been going through a lot of back and forth with the Twitter blue and all this stuff. And I was enjoying, I have zero problem with him doing what he's doing with the Twitter blue shit, because I think it's hilarious watching all these idiots, establishment people, literally like crap their pants because they're so mad that they're going to have to pay $8 eventually to have a blue check. I just think it's hilarious. But do I think that the algorithm is going to benefit those that speak outside narratives? No, because I'm seeing it right now. Accounts get censored all the time, get taken down. I'm part of a shadow ban. He hasn't addressed the shadow ban on a lot of us. So no, I don't think it's going to change anything at all whatsoever. People are going to say this is a bombshell thing. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is so important. Guess what? Nothing's going to happen because it's not meant to happen. It's just meant for people to get that red meat, as Pasta said, and be like, ooh, Democrats suck. Like, Republicans, yay. And like,
this is helping put people in corners, and a lot of people aren't looking at the main important things too as well, which is what Whitney's pointing out right here. If you're a journalist completely committed to opposing digital CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and that's eliminating money, the more physical money you eliminate, the more electronic money you implement, the more freedoms you take away. Musk plans to turn Twitter into an everything app. It should be the deal. It should be a deal breaker. And that and the brain chip certainly are for me. So what Whitney's talking about is that Elon Musk has constantly pointed out this love for the We app, everything app in China where you got everything there, central bank digital currencies hooked to the app. You can buy things, do things. You can communicate on social media. It's one app to control them all, fam. And it's a very scary thing because that's what he's talked about for a long time. So a lot of people think that that's where he's eventually sheep herding people into. And that is a very concerning thing, fam.
No, I agree. I mean, and I think obviously she's written a lot about this. So I would go ahead and look at her work on this stuff, because his ties are extremely problematic to the defense industry. And so she quote tweeted him when he said, "We are now confident that the Neuralink device is ready for humans." So timing is a function of working through the FDA approval process. So then she quote tweeted and said 15 or 8, depending on who you believe, of the 23 monkeys died in animal trials for Neuralink. Moving to human trials with that track record is a dangerous gamble. So this is a guy talking about Neuralink device. And look, some people have pointed out, well, Neuralink, it will help the disabled. It could help some certain people, but it's not even the technology that I have a problem with as much as like, because I do have a problem with the technology, but I think like the technology is going to advance whether we like it or not. It's about who's in charge of the technology. And with the people that we have in power right now and the things they're trying to use this for isn't to benefit disabled people. It's literally to manipulate people, to control people. It's not, they're not doing this because they're good and they just want to better the world and have kumbaya and let's all live in peace and hold hands. That's not why they're doing this.
Plugged into the matrix.
Essentially, yeah.
Yes. I mean,
that's essentially what it is.
Useless eaters. They don't want you there. They don't want you thinking. They want every thought. They want the thought police there as well. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? They don't want you to. And they're going to plug everybody in eventually. So, yeah, it is what it is. This is just a thought.
Yes, and I love her. She always has just a great thought. What a fucking joke. No one is going to suicide Elon Musk because he's a useful tool to the establishment, not a threat. And that's exactly it, guys. I mean, oh, Elon Musk, and just also thanking him. And I just have this really visceral reaction to people just so easily being manipulated by certain like narratives without actually questioning like why this is happening. And like, look, like, is it a bad thing, for example, that he's been talking about Julian? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it really opens up the conversation. Do I think it's genuine? No. That's the thing. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it gets his name out there. Elon has a lot of followers. He's got a lot of power. But I'm also not naive enough to think that
he fucking balked on it. He balked. You know what a balk is?
Of course he did.
All right.
So again, I just want to remind people of this thread if you haven't seen it. from last month in November. Since Elon Musk is the center of attention right now, it's important to know he is not, as he portrays himself, some radical outsider, but a crucial part of the US surveillance and national security states. It's Mint Press article, and we can click on it, but real quick, I just want to go through some of the tweets he has here on the thread. Musk was a protege, the CIA, and in particular, the CIA exec Mike Griffin. Griffin mentored him, and when SpaceX was going broke, he argued for him at the CIA plus NASA, saying he was the new Henry Ford of the rocket industry, securing huge contracts for Musk. So there he is. And what
Penny
I said,
loafers,
like,
man. Penny loafers. The guy's wearing penny
when I
loafers.
said he has ties to these people, I wasn't lying. Griffin was president of the CIA venture capitalist arm In-Q-Tel. In-Q-Tel supports fraudulent businesses that the agency thinks could work with them. Griffin also accompanied Musk to Russia in 2002, where the pair tried to buy Russian intercontinental ballistic missiles. SpaceX's business model is to send spy communication satellites into space. Its primary customers are the CIA, the NSA, NRO, and USAF. Thus, Musk is a vital cog in the national security state machine, helping them build the global surveillance network Edward Snowden warned us about. But somehow Elon Musk doesn't know about Julian Assange or Edward Snowden very much at all. He has to get himself educated on it, right?
It's a lie.
Like,
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. Dude, if you don't know about freaking... That's a lie. You know who? Jamal Bauman said the same thing. Said, I don't know enough about the situation. That's a lie.
They all say that.
You don't know about the biggest press fucking trial in history, like the biggest situation. Like, it's not just Elon. It's not just Julian Assange. It's what Julian Assange provided, the mechanism of saying, this is what your government is doing behind your back. This is the blood they are spilling in your name. The mechanism of letting whistleblowers drop archives of information that was hidden from you, the taxpayer dollars, blood spilled in your name. That's what Julian Assange provided. And if you don't know about Assange, then you don't know about fucking anything. You're lying.
And by the way,
you're lying.
Pasta's 100% right on this. And I just want to say that doesn't mean that a regular Joe Schmo that's working 40 hours a week, that doesn't pay attention to politics or watch any of this stuff, isn't going to know about. There's a lot of people that don't know about Julian Assange. There's like regular people out there. Elon Musk in these circles, he knows. Come on, he's not a regular guy that's just completely in his own world working, doing, like, this is Elon Musk. This guy has ties to the State Department. You're going to tell me he doesn't know about Julian Assange? Are you freaking kidding me? It's bullshit. And if you buy it, you're lying to yourself, because look, earlier this year, Musk worked with the US government to send Starlink satellites to Ukraine. Guys, keeping its army online and allowing them to use new tech to precisely target Russian forces. Some Ukrainian forces couldn't even fire their weapons without using Starlink. So, I mean, yeah, well, this is the what
there
really grinds our gears, right? There it is, Pasta. There's also the controversy over Musk's reported role in the U.S.-backed 2019 coup against Bolivia's Evo Morales. Musk appeared to brag on Twitter that he helped remove Morales from power, something Morales has also said. So this is what this was a tweet, if you guys recall. You know what wasn't in the best interest of the people? The U.S. government organizing a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain the lithium there. We'll coup whoever we want, deal with it. So that was the infamous tweet. And then Evo Morales talked about lithium. And I did a whole package on this, by the way. The Evo Morales has said that the reason why they were couped is because of the lithium. And lithium, of course, in the lithium triangle, Bolivia has some of the most strong amounts of lithium. And this is a reality here. And people want to pretend this guy is some sort of savior, that he's just going to release these documents for the benefit of people. No, unless there's something he can get out of it too. And that's what you have to go really look at. Like, what are you looking at right now?
And by the way, the last thing, it was this one here.
So yes, an awful lot more eye-opening information contained inside the report. So if you guys go and read that article, I thought it was a good article from Mint Press. And, you know, I just think people really need to look at this logically rather than emotionally. Oh my God, we're vindicated because yes, we know we're vindicated. They already told us a Hunter Biden laptop story was true, and it was censored because it was, and then this came out to double confirm it. So really, what did it tell us other than what we already knew? You know, like not much else. And this was my answer because Dan Cohen had thanked, you know, Elon, and had actually said Elon Musk, if you scroll up, he had reiterated what Elon Musk had said during these Twitter spaces that he had with Kim.com. And Kim.com had asked Elon Musk about the persecution of Julian Assange. And Musk responded, I just don't know enough about the Assange situation to say whether he should be punished or not. That is a political answer. It is a bullshit answer.
A lie.
It is an answer that you put out when you know the truth. You just don't want to say it. And like, it's just complete bullshit. You know, it's complete bullshit. I said, he knows exactly about Assange. This is the answer you give when you pretend otherwise to avoid saying you're not allowed to actually care. He's not allowed to talk about Julian Assange. How many times has Misty Winston tagged him to talk about Julian Assange because he claims to be this free speech warrior? So a lot, not just her, but like so many activists for Assange have been tagging him. You're going to tell me he never saw any of this? So then he went on and did, okay, I'm not expressing an opinion, but did promise to conduct this poll. Should Assange and Snowden be pardoned? 80.5% of people said yes. Only 19.5% of idiots said no. And there you have it. I mean, it's just, you know, but at the same time, what does this do? Okay, it raises awareness about Assange to maybe people who didn't know that aren't Elon Musk, you know, regular people who may not know who Assange is or what is going, because there's a lot of people that still don't know. So, okay, that's not a bad thing that he's raising awareness, but really like, it's like he's not taking responsibility or accountability for the fact that Julian Assange shouldn't be pardoned. He should have never been charged at all. He should, like, this is ridiculous. This is like an attack on press freedoms. You should pardon Edward Snowden, completely release Julian Assange. He shouldn't be in jail at all. He literally had the crime of being a journalist and a publisher. That's that. He wasn't even a whistleblower. And he gave us direct source materials through WikiLeaks, not screenshots on Twitter, but direct source materials. I'm not belittling that screenshots on Twitter can't be information, because they can, but Elon-approved screenshots on Twitter. Let me just preface it by that. Elon-approved. What the guy that has all these ties that we just read about to the State Department, to the CIA, to NASA, to the NSA, approved screenshots as released as this big giant thing. Come on, guys. Yeah. Come on.
By the way, I figured it was a good way to end the show, fam, with what Stella said after this information just came out. And it's very, very powerful. And when she starts to lose it, it gets me so angry, because I mean, what is he doing? What is Julian Assange's crime? I believe it was Sarah Abdullah, who does some great reporting on what goes on in Syria too, as well. And anytime there's bombing, she seems to be ahead of it. And she just calls out Israel as well. And it's like we said, we're gonna have Vanessa Billy on Wednesday to talk about what's going on in Syria right now, because it's disgusting. But she put up a post that showed George W. Bush dropped over 100,000 bombs. Trump 70,000 bombs. Obama 100,000 bombs. Whatever. All these bombs, right? They're all free. Julian Assange is in jail for revealing war crimes, for revealing stuff that we have every right to know. We have every right to know, and we should know any blood spilled in our names. You hear what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? And at the end of the day, I mean, I understand that we don't have a lot of power and a lot of choices, but they're using our tax dollars. They're using our voice to justify it. So here's a little quick clip of Stella speaking some truth.
You look in your hair. You open your mouth. You look under your tongue. They pat you down front and back. Under your feet. They put their hands under your feet, your bare feet. And then you go through another airlock. And then another airlock. And then there's a dog search. And the dog searches you toe it jumps up on you, it smells you, goes back. You have to stay still. The children have to stay still. And it's quite intimidating, a dog search. And they have to do this just to see their father once a week. Think about that. And why? What has Julian done? He published the truth about war crimes against a powerful government that is exerting its power to punish him. This cruelty is against Julian. It's also against us as a family, against my children, but also against all of you. And staying quiet is just being complicit in this atrocity. And I commend every MEP who supported this nomination, because that's what it takes. You have to raise the political profile of this case until it is absolutely impossible for the UK to extradite and for the US to prosecute. You all know what a political case is. You all know what it takes. This is a pure political persecution happening in the heart of Europe.
When she got emotional, it got me emotional. It's what did he do? He told us the truth. And if the truth blows it up, then the truth blows it up. I hate the people who say, well, he released truth that helped Trump. I'm done with that bullshit. I'm done with that. The truth is the truth, no matter what. We deserve to know the truth. We deserve to understand and know what type of blood is being spilt in our names. We deserve to know how our tax dollars are being spent. We deserve to know, and we should know. And that's what Julian Assange provided for us. End of story.
And at the end of the day, I don't think anything new is going to come out of this other than people, unfortunately, putting their trust and reliance on a guy that was funded by the defense industry that continues to do a lot of work for the State Department, the intelligence apparatus. And I think you always have to look out at why certain things get leaked, by whom, at a certain time, to whom. And we live in a world right now where you can't just look at the current narrative and say, oh, this is it. Like, again, like, it's not just the counter narrative to the current narrative, it's the counter narrative to the accepted counter narrative that you have to look like, right? And you have to really understand where all of this is coming from, like why exactly all of this is happening, and what benefit does Elon get? What benefit do the people who fund Elon get by people putting their trust in this guy who has shown time and time again he really isn't as transparent or as much of an outsider as people want him to be. And you have to go back to the American public so readily, easily being able to accept that somebody is going to be a hero figure for them and is going to save the free speech from the evil Democrats or whatever villain it is for that day. I just find that to be really what you have to be looking at. And I'm not convinced that this is some sort of big reveal. It basically tells us what we already knew. And I do think in some ways, I like that some activists are using Elon's revelations or Elon saying, oh, well, I'm not educated on the subject. Well, get educated, Elon. Here you go. It's fine, like, to do that. I think it's good to kind of throw it back at him and say, oh, you're not educated. Well, it's time you might get educated now, right? Like, you can't lie about it anymore. So now, like, he has to see, he can try to, like, weasel his way out of it again, but it's just not going to stick because he's saying, okay, well, I wasn't educated, but now hopefully he gets educated on it, right? Like, we know the truth, but it's good that is one good thing I see about this. And I am happy that more people are talking about Julian Assange, but I don't think it's just happening because they just had a come to Jesus moment. There's a lot of things that are happening with it.
And it's a distraction. It's a circus. Like I said, it's the red meat. It's going to get the Republicans all fired up, and they're going to think they're the only ones. People like us have gotten punished before. And just to show you some of the craziness of the circus that is, right now you got the Republicans coming in. Fam, they're going to have an investigation on the investigation. Why the
Yeah, I mean,
GOP
this
will
is
investigate the January 6th committee's investigation. We're going to investigate your investigation. And now you're going to bring up
it's
the
just
Hunter Biden shit at the end of like
yeah,
2 years into fucking almost 2 years
yeah,
into Biden's fucking
yeah.
presidency. Now you're going to bring it up. Guys, we cannot be that. We're going to
This
have
is
an
the
investigation on your investigation, fam. Literally.
it's WWE. It's entertainment television, reality TV, whatever you want to call it. It's entertainment for the American public. Nothing's going to come out of these investigations. I'm sorry. It's them investigating themselves back and forth and doing this theatrical production of the Democrats versus Republicans, and that's that. And at the end of the day, what Pasta said was important. 2 years after the event, all this stuff is happening way too late. Like, yes, we already knew this. Yes, it wasn't confirmed, and now we have more evidence that what we were saying was true. But what is good does it do now? Like, it's done. It's over with. For 2 years, people were getting called conspiracy theorists. They were getting censored. Okay, we're vindicated. Now what? Now is Elon Musk going to really have a free speech platform when the people who fund him literally are part of the problem and part of the machine? No. It's just not, that's not how things work, guys. It is completely an illusion for you to think that that's how things work. And it's just not. So I think people need to really be realistic. Again, we don't advocate the no solutions doomer look on the show, but we advocate realistically, like, these connections can't be ignored. You can't put his connections aside and pretend they don't exist and say, well, this is just a one time. That's like putting the United States empire's attempts to, coup, overthrow regimes everywhere, and then think that they're going to come home and not do the same thing to their own elections. That it's not logic.
Somebody this is from a Possum King on Rumble, put Putin should trade Griner for Assange. It's the only way he gets out. Brittany Griner for Assange. Why don't they float that out there? It's where Putin says, I'll give you Brittany Griner for Assange. And then put it on, fam, you got to feed this to the Kremlin. To put it on, then all the social justice warriors will be like, how could you not give up Brittany Griner? How could you not give up some stupid white man for Brittany Griner? Like, this is perfect over here. What a great Possum King. This is a great Putin. Put him on the spot. Say, I'll give you Brittany Griner for Julian Assange. Deal or no deal? And then so many of the social justice warriors will come out. And they'll say that, fam. How can he not trade this dumb one white man for Brittany Griner? I think it's a beautiful idea, and I love it.